real advice about direction that they need to go. I don't see nobody on there. I'm like you, Rocky. I don't feel comfortable with that support mechanism.
So, Coach, what I'm doing when I'm looking at, and this is, you got to understand, Coach, you're the professional in this. I'm just a fan. I don't know anything. But as a Jackson, when he took the job at Jackson State, I immediately become a Jackson State fan, right? And then shortly thereafter, you find out Dennis Thurman is coming with him, who you know was an NFL defensive coordinator. And he's a black guy that's a defensive coordinator. What does that say? As a black guy.
Hold on, Coach. He had Coach Flea from Howard, who was the head coach. He had Jason Phillips, who played with him with the Hawks, that coached at Baylor and everywhere else. Coach, he had T.C. Taylor, who had just won a championship at North Carolina Central with Jerry Mack, who's now at Kennesaw. So I'm looking that.
Not to mention Brewster, the line coach or the tight end coach or whatever he was.
Oh yeah, and then a host of other coaches that was just there paying their own way, coaching on the sideline.
Yeah, I'll just say, I'm looking at the bios for these coaches. And I'll just say this. The one thing that appears to be in common with all of them is that all of them are former players. Okay. So the first thing, and look, I'll be the first one to tell you, you guys make some very valid points in regards to looking at it on the surface and saying, okay, yeah, I don't know what he's going to offer this staff. At the same time, I'm looking at one dude, like, for example, I'm looking at Mr. Smith here. Worked us alongside Gavin at Florida Memorial's team as co-defensive coordinator. Prior to FMU, he served as defensive coach back at Ava Maria. That was the NAIA guy that Johnny was mentioning. You got another Florida Memorial guy. Look, I'm looking at it like this, and I see a lot of similarities here in terms of what we're seeing in this staff. In terms of, what I saw on the basketball side in the hiring of Mr. Crary at Florida A&M. There's a lot of the same questions are being asked. Nobody knew who Coach Crary was or what his pedigree was until they actually looked into, what he did at St. Thomas. And then, the caveat was, well, that's NAIA. That doesn't count. Let me finish that, Mr. Cole. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to finish.
Man, you made me think I'm in English class, but go ahead. Shit,
man. No, I'm just saying. The only thing I'm saying is that there may be a specific reason why, Vic is gravitating to these guys, and it may be because they're former players. It may be because there's a comfort level with them that he may not have. We may not see. That's not an indication of how effective those guys are going to be or not. The only thing I'm saying is that there's got to be something else there that's going to be connecting.
You hope there is. You hope.
Look, I'm an Alabama State guy, so I'm not worried about that.
No. What I'm saying, no. I'm just talking about somebody who is observing a black man who has stewardship over a program. Just looking at their resume, you hope there's something else that you're missing, and that's all I'm saying, Herb. I hope there's something else there that I don't value that is of value. Okay. And Campbell, if you got something you got to say, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say something because I know, Coach, this is more, I really want, people want to hear Coach. But I think, and I've learned this a long time ago, I think what Michael Vick, and I think this is what Herb was saying, what people do naturally, they're going to look at a resume, right? And they want to see accolades, they want to see experience. But it also goes to something about working with people that you feel comfortable working with, that you think you can complete a mission. And I think Michael Vick went that direction. He went with guys that I think that he might have a relationship with, that he feel comfortable with, because I think also too, people, and I'm not saying this is Michael Vick, but when you are new to something, you also like the fact that all of you all are moving in the same direction, because sometimes people that are very experienced that come in with you, you know what they do? Well, I didn't do it like this. I didn't do it like that. And sometimes, and I'm saying this used to being a young manager, I used to say, I got you. I understand you have the experience, but this is a new way we're charting out. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, if I need to make a left, I'm going to make a left, but we still going west. So that's the thing that I think Michael Vick looked into, is more so he got a group of guys that might not be resume heavy, but it's very clear to the point, like Herb said, played in the league, and it looks like he's going for a youth movement, the guys that can relate. That's just what I'm looking at, because I am shocked that, like I said, that it was kind of, I thought it would have been a balance. You know, again, NFL guy, hey, I'm going to come help you out, Mike. Last rodeo, I'm coming down no matter what. So, Coach, what you got?
Here's the deal, guys. See, that's why you don't hire somebody that's inexperienced. You got to hire somebody that got some experience, have been there, okay? Athletics is so egotistical. You can't worry about it. And the first thing a young coach, a young head coach do is hire his friends. We've talked about on this hire. I'm going to hire all the Qs. I'm going to hire all the Kappas. You know, but when it's 4th down and 1 and your Kappa friend up in the box talking about he gonna run a sweep to the weak side, to the boundary, and don't make it, damn that Kappa and we friends, damn it, we should have went some other direction. But if you as a head coach don't have how you want to do things, because what you do is you pick up stuff on your way up to leadership. Of course, you guys know that. Y'all run businesses. And then once you get your business, you know how you want to run stuff. All right. But here's the deal. You also learn that I'm going to hire people that I need. I'm going to hire people where I'm weak at. I don't see that on that staff. I'm going to hire people where I need them to give me some advice. I need somebody that knows what a championship team, knows what a looks like, knows how a relationship is built. Guys, when I was at Southern University, we didn't like each other as a staff, but we respected Coach Richardson so much, we went 11-0. You know, I of course, you guys know I worked with my brother at Tennessee State. Man, you know, we didn't hire friends. We hired guys to do the job, you know, and where you came from. But we had a plan on how it, because of our experience, how it looked, how it smelled, what to do, and where to go. And if you don't know those avenues, you got to hire guys. I hired Melvin Spears, had been a head coach. Kevin Ramsey had been in Tennessee, Georgia. L.C. Cole, of course, you guys know he had been a head coach. Jay Cabell had been a head coach. He had gave me a job. You know what I'm saying? I hired guys around me. I didn't want to sit in the room and say that I know more than everybody in here. I didn't want to sit in the room to say I didn't know. You know, I just had a way of how it looked and what I wanted to do. And I had to go out and get, not my friends, I had to go out and get people who have won in those positions. And to me, that's success. And when I look at all these guys, and we talk a lot, guys, about everybody can't be successful, but when you look at Nick Saban, you know, you want to talk about Nick Saban, he hired nothing but head coaches. And what they do, Nick don't care where they come from, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to play cover 2. We're going to run first and pass second, no matter who's there. When you look at Urban Meyer, same way. You look at these great coaches, Doug Williams, same way. Melvin Spears took over from Doug, ran the program the same way, won. Fred McNair took over from the other cat, ran the program. Guys, you got to get guys around you. You go in that room and you and your boys, your friends, I'm telling you, them same boys is going to be talking about you when you don't have the answer to what you're supposed to do.
Hey, guys, I kind of wanted to also contrast the coaching staff that Vic appointed versus the coaching staff that your protege, Tremaine Jackson hired, right? And again, I didn't expect it to be the same in any way because, again, Coach Tremaine Jackson is a career coach, someone who was coming from a championship program. He He coached in the D2 championship. So he had he's coached over 20 years, obviously, because you hired him as a GA coach and then later on as a coach. So he has a lot of coaching. He has a network in coaching, right? But I just wanted to, just share who he hired. And what I saw and you correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, it looked like he hired a lot of guys that he had worked with on his championship staff. And I just wanted to get your thoughts and your thoughts of Herb, being that with the success that he had at Valdosta State, do you think, even though that's not an HBCU, do you think the experience that was gained at Valdosta State could help these guys build a championship over here at Prairie View? And whoever wants to coach, whoever wants to address that, go ahead.
Absolutely. I think, one, if you've seen his squads at Valdosta State, those Valdosta State squads were smash mouth squads. A lot of people looked at Valdosta State and saw them as a FCS school masquerading as a D2 school. So, to me, him transitioning from Valdosta State to Prairie View, it's a jump up to FCS, but at the same time, he's going to have comparable. He's going to bring people with him that's going to create the same style of football. And if he creates the same style of football that he created at Valdosta State, he's going to have a really good chance to win at Prairie View, point blank. I think him being there as long as he has obviously made it a lot easier for him to kind of call on that network and to call on people that, not only he trusts, but he shares his vision to build the type of program that he wants to build. Not necessarily from the product on the field perspective, but in terms of culture, the whole nine. So, yeah, I think that's I think what he's done with that staff, and I don't want people to look at the staff and look at the staff in terms of where they came from. It's about, just like we kind of touched on with Vic, it's about the trust level that coach has with those people he selected. In this case, Tremaine has a lot more of a network to draw on than Vic does in terms of coaching, in terms of being able to get people that fit his perspective in terms of what he wants to build there. So, yeah, I think, everything I've seen on, I know we talked about it briefly on HBCU Nightly. Everything we've seen on that staff, he's building the same type of staff.
Well, one of the things, and one of his assistant head coaches played for me as well, Trent Early. He has a systematic way of doing things because of the things that he's seen and where he's been. And he knows going in, what he needs to do at the program at Prairie View to either build on it or tear it down and build it back, because he don't seen it. He's worked at some great programs, Texas State, Sioux Falls up there, Colorado Mesa. He turned that program around. Valdosta, he found out what was the keys there. And going in it, he already know where the restroom's at. And he already know who he need, and the coaches know his system. You got to get assistant coaches. And this what happens, Herbert, to some of these guys that get these jobs and not ready for these jobs, because it's an egotistical business. Coaches can turn into flies. What I mean by that, if you sitting up there and you don't have the answers to something, and you got to ask him, you got to ask him, and you got to ask, or you can't come up with the answer yourself, you got coaches that go after your job. You got coaches that's going to talk, around and about you. Coaching is, it's a cutthroat business if you don't know what you're doing and don't know where you want to go and where you want to move in this program. You know what I'm saying? Some assistant coaches cut you up. I can remember working up at a college, Arizona Western, and the head coach got so upset, and he started going down to, talking talking about the coach. He said, that's what's wrong with y'all young coaches. If you want to run your own program, then y'all need to go find a job somewhere else. So I've been on coaches, man, that fought each other, tangled with each other. You know what I mean? It's an egotistical business. That's why when you guys talk about a guy taking over a head coaching job with no experience, I'm looking from a whole different lens and experience of know how bad it could get. You know, and I'm not saying I'm wishing this on Vic nor Deshaun Jackson, but I'm saying that I've been in those rooms and in those meeting rooms. You know, I was coached by pros. I've been in a room full of pro coaches as a young coach. You know, I've been there and I've seen those things happen. And I know what Scotty gonna say. Oh man, that was 1980. No, I'm over Scotty because I know he over there. He be trying to get. No, I'm just kidding. I've been in those rooms, you know, and a lot of you guys are talking from the outside and what it should be and what it could be. I'm talking from what it is and what it was and what it will be if you don't have a way of doing stuff. And you know, you got to be able to come in there with some type of game plan. You can't go in there and open the door to everybody's what you did, and what did you do. That's not an ingredient for success.
But Coach, I want to make a point on that, and this is, you know, and Herb, I think even to your point, Rocket. See, this is where Michael Vick's damned if he do, damned if he doesn't, right? Because we're in an age now where everybody's digesting information and then they give their own spin on it, right? So if he doesn't successful, you know what they're gonna say? Man, he should have hired some older head coaches and stuff like that. Now, if he's successful, then he'll say, you know what, look, he was being innovative. So I think I've always learned this. You got to make a decision one way or another, right? And if this is the way he feels is the way he's got to go. What I hope he does, he stands on it and understands that if he's going to go this direction, because to me, the route to go was the Eddie George route. You know what I mean? You come in, you got Jeff Fisher advising you, you got Hugh Jackson got in, and then you bring a couple of your boys in, Pip and Pearson, you know what I'm saying? Come on down and let me give you a job and stuff like that. I think that mix kind of helps you because one thing about me, and my uncle and my grandfather told me this, you ain't gonna know if I got $5 or $5 million in my pocket because I'm always gonna look $1 million. I'm always gonna
let me look at Alabama State staff, Coach, from when Eddie Robinson joined. Everybody on the staff was a Q-Dog. Oh, you from Alabama State, Herbert? You
yes,
went
sir.
to Alabama State?
Yes, sir.
Man, you don't know about them cold-blooded days. No,
I love cold-blooded days, man.
But look at Eddie Robinson's staff. He are all Q-Dogs. Look at his staff now. You know what I'm saying? Look at his staff now. If you go back and look,
I got some words. I got some words about that. About some of that.
Go ahead, Coach. You can explain that, but you Alabama State guy.
Yeah, I'll just say this, man, I'll just leave the. I was just to say that I was disappointed in what I saw offensively from Alabama State this year was a mass understatement. I'm not going to sit here and say that I understand exactly, how that came about. But that first game, I've never seen a season transform after the first two series of the first game of the year. And that's exactly what happened with us. First two.
We were at that. Coach Cole and I were at that game.
Yeah, the first two offensive series. I think I shared a sentiment of every Alabama State fan that was looking at those first two offensive series. Like, what in the blue hell are you doing?
Them Alabama State folks still hurt, boy. They thought they were going to Celebration Bowl.
Man,
them boys still hurt down in Montgomery.
You know what? You know what, Herb? I'm hurt too because I said this the week after that game, and Coach Cole wouldn't go as far as to say it because he's a practitioner in the profession, but I said it as a fan. That was coaching malpractice at the OVC and what I saw.
It's hard to defend, man, because and not to say that defensively. Look. Defensively, I have no doubts about Eddie Robinson's ability to consistently have defensive squads. even though with this the DC rolling out, we're going to have to take a closer look at that.
The secondary coach as well.
Yeah, secondary coach as well. But
where are they going, Coach? Where are they going?
The DC went to UAB, and the secondary coach went to Kennesaw.
Right. And,
wow.
They put out about 3 or 4 professional defensive backs.
Your guy went to your guy went to Kennesaw, Coach?
Yeah, the one we had on the show.
Yeah.
James Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this year is really going to be where the rubber is going to hit the road to see whether or not he can replicate a lot of
all the Q dogs are going now. He got cappers.
Oh, hilarious, man. But I think, to that point, I think seasons like that, and I think this ties into this discussion, it's going to force you as a staff and as a head coach to do a couple of things if you're really about that job. It's going to force you to sit down in the offseason and really reevaluate, one, what do I need to do, and how far do I need to go in order for this product to change the right way? But again, in Bama State's case, I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if that means, you take the complete decision-making process out of hands for the offense and just leave with your offensive coordinator, although your offensive coordinator really, yeah, I'm going to leave that alone.
No, but Herb, I think he just I think Coach has to hire somebody he trusts. Like, to me, that's the elephant in the room, is that he has to hire somebody that he trusts to carry out his philosophy.
Yeah, I agree. But I think go ahead, John. No, I'm sorry.
You wasn't real. The new office coordinator was a new coordinator coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, his biggest decision now is what he's going to do on defense. Because if you bring a new defensive coordinator in, what is he going to do? Is he going to run what y'all run, or is he going to run what he knows? That's going to be a big, big item for him. And now, of course, everybody know he didn't really have a lot of head coaching experience when he came in. So he really getting his experience from being a head coach and not being able to see things happening. It's going to be real tough on Eddie this year.
But I think
we didn't mean to bring you in and give you that misery by Alabama State. I know y'all had high hopes this year. So.
But even when we were walking down, Coach, when we went to the spring game, Coach, it wasn't far before you were able to identify somebody who had been a head coach already in the SWAC. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but you said, hey, that guy used to be head coach at, was it Bethune-Cookman Campbell? That guy.
Yeah,
Jenkins,
the one that came.
No, but you Campbell's the one that pointed out.
Yeah, he's on the staff at Alabama State. Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Simmons?
No,
he was the head coach.
The guy before Woody, Coach Woody.
Sims.
Yeah. Coach Sims.
So my point, what I'm saying is, even he at some point hired a more experienced guy to run his program, and I think he was the chief of staff for him. So I think only thing I'm saying is experience matters, and I hope that that Vic is able to get some guys who know what playing in the SWAC and playing at that level is all about.
Here's one thing that
it's not the SWAC, the MEAC. Playing in the MEAC and playing at that level is all about.
Yeah. Here's the number one thing that I have experienced in HBCU football is that guys that come from those levels, they don't have no respect. They think they can come in and out-coach everybody. That's the number one thing they think. And I'm telling you, Trey Olivers, T.C. Taylors, man, these guys are Chennis Berries. These guys are gearing up, Coach. These guys probably studying film now. You know what I'm saying? Because it becomes a pride thing as well. And I hope those guys are ready to come in, because if not, Coach, them guys are going for 70. They're going to be going for 70 points. I'm telling you, their A game is going to be on. Once again, I experienced it. I've seen it. I've been a part of it on both sides as a player, being coached by a pro. And I've seen it for 40 years, Scotty. I've seen it. The 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. When those guys come in and everybody get behind those guys, them Trey Olivers, they gear up. They gear up, man, and they get in there and they
Coach Campbell. Hey, Campbell, I'm gonna make you answer this question, because this is a swag question, and I need it answered because I believe what coach is saying. These coaches are gonna come in, they're gonna gear up, and they're gonna be ready to kick Vic and Deshaun Jackson's ass all over the field. Coach, what happened to that plan when Prime got to the SWAC, and why didn't it play out like that for him when he came to the SWAC?
Well, that's easy. First of all, he brought a whole lot of talent.
Yeah.
He brought a quarterback, and you got to understand something. Other than Grambling, which had basically was at the end of that dynasty, there was no dominant team. I mean, Alcorn was a good team, and then but there was no dominant team. And then FAMU came along in there right with them. So that was the thing. I tell you what. Now here's what I will say. And again, if now I'm doing multiverse. If he had came in to when A&T was rolling and went over there to the MEAC, came over there when Billy Joe was rolling, came over there when Pete Richards was rolling. See, it's a lot of Jackson State. Man,
Rob Broadway, LC Cole, Rick Comedy.
Yeah. So when you're talking about teams that had built teams, because like I say, I got to give the people at A&T credit. Those A&T teams, if he had came in there, that was going to be some head knockers. You see what I'm saying? So I think he came in, like I said, I'll tell you this right now. If they would have played, again, the Grambling team when Kincaid was in that junior senior year, and I'm talking about Shadur's freshman year, because he wasn't seasoned yet, that Grambling team would have whooped him. That Grambling team would have whooped, because they have that much talent on that team. But again, he came in at the right time. He had a quarterback. He brought in all the talent. But here's the thing, Rocky. And unfortunately, and this is what I got to give TC Taylor credit. When all things were even, he got to the Celebration Bowl. What happened?
Yeah, and I think that's
what happened.
I can't argue with what happened.
Yeah. So even with that, it showed. And let's be honest, the two things about it, and like I said, this and people from Jackson State are upset. This is why you got to give TC Taylor credit, because the coaching. Hey man, the guys from MEAC all got together. Okay. With Buddy Pugh the first time, and they made a joke about it. They laughed about it. They got together. We're beating, to your point, Coach, of saying we want to beat this guy. Those guys got together, got on the camera, and said, "Oh yeah, we was with Buddy all week."
Hey Herbert, you remember Stump Mitchell Bishop?
Yeah.
At Southern.
Yeah.
At Southern.
I remember.
When I was head coach, we all talked. Everybody tried to put 60 on him. He was the head coach at Southern. He was a running back coach from the NFL, came into the league, and every time when they
he's a legendary running back coach. Let's just go and say that.
Exactly. Stump Mitchell. Coach, we stomped him. We stomped him. And I'm telling you, all those pro coaches that come in, and now the thing with Vic and Deshaun, they coming over there messing with Trey Oliver and Chittis Perry and Wilson, coach. And then they got to play some white PWI schools.
Hey, Rock, can I share my screen? Am I able to share screen?
Let
me see if I can pull this up, because this is what's funny about this. And we were supposed to have Coach Sewell on, but let me see.
I know, man. I got to call Coach, man. My phone just done went out. I ain't been in contact.
Okay.
But
can you guys see that?
No, you're gonna have to put it on the screen.
Well,
all right, there you go. I got you.
Now this is Coach. He said, "I'm looking forward to the competition. It's a moot point if we don't have good showings against these teams. I just hope they don't assume we are sweet because we didn't play or have long careers in the league." And the topic, HBCU coordinator eager to face Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson. And I don't know how many of you all know Coach Sewell. He is very active on social media.
Let me tell you about Coach Sewell. When I met Coach Sewell, I'm a kind of coach, guys, if you really didn't know. I like cocky guys. You know what I mean? I want to go to war with them. I want to get in the damn pit with them and know they got my back. That's who Coach Sewell is. Well, when I first took the job over at Texas Southern, we were speaking at the Labor Day Classic thing, and I was talking about, and Frazier, and they bringing all these Washington, D.C. guys, and I'm getting all these Texas guys. So we get to the game. Man, man, they had to keep them cats from jumping on me. I'm like, man, what are you? They, because they from the East Coast, and they took it personal. And Coach Sewell, he was a young coach, man. I mean, yeah. We'll see. And Coach, they beat my ass. Let's say that. They beat my butt. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know what kind of guy I was. So finally, we went to a coach convention, and we got a chance to really meet, me knowing them and they really knowing who I am, man. And man, this guy, Coach Sewell, is a high intense guy. Hell, Coach, he a high intense guy.
So you think about this is what he posted in public. You see what I'm saying? He did not hide that.
Yeah.
So like to Coach's point, they are already, and this is listen, not being fun. This is Morgan State. So what do you think South Carolina State and Central are thinking? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're like, wait a minute, because see, and let's be honest, and Herb, this is you guys' side of the fence on this side. People have already pushed Morgan and Howard all the way down. You know what I mean? Deshaun Jackson and Vic and them are going to be challenging South Carolina State. And these guys have pride. So they go up on there like, wait a minute now. We've been in the conference.
Yeah, first and foremost, I don't buy that for a second. One, just knowing, Coach Wilson and that staff in terms of what they did at Bowie State before coming to Morgan. And I mean, the defensively, those guys have been there. They're ahead of schedule where they need to be at defensively. It's on the offensive side of the ball where Morgan has, run into issues, whether it's trying to find a really good quarterback or trying to establish an offensive identity. I think, and to be quite honest with you, I think they're a lot closer than people think they are. But yeah, I mean, I don't buy that for her. I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy people that are talking that yang about, they're going to come in and run rush off out of the league. They, y'all creating a quagmire for these guys that you don't want. I mean, it's just to me, and that's the thing about the MEAC in particular and the SWAC is that, for all the heat that these coaches take, for what we see on game day, these coaches get in the film room and plan and game plan and do the same type of work that everybody else does. So, yeah, they're not gonna take too kindly to, media, social media pundits that are going to be like, well, yeah, we're going to come in and just wreck shop. That's not going to work.
Yeah,
let me ask Coach Cole this.
Coach, hold on. I do want to take just 1 second to apologize to Coach Sewell because my phone was out and I got to go buy a new one. I don't have any information, and he was supposed to be on tonight, and so we got to make a special day for him to come out because it's real important to me that people meet this guy. I mean, like I said, I think he's a heck of a coach. And, when stuff like this happens, these guys, man, and this is what we talk about, Bishop and Rocky, about making sure people meet these guys. So when these opportunities are open up, and these guys get opportunity, people know who they are. So I want to just take a second.
Hey, Coach Cole, let me ask you this here, and then before we wrap this show up, Coach.
Yes.
We look at Mike Vick's staff, and you mentioned this, Coach, and I can't say it as eloquently as you said, but you say with 40,000 people breathing down your neck, 4th and 1, having to make that call. How important is experience in that situation versus being inexperienced?
Well, because you got to make the right call. I can remember a time that I was at Southern University, and you got to have good staff. I was at Southern University. We playing South Carolina State. We down on the 11-yard line. All right, and it's 4th It's 4th and 1. All right. And we're down. We're down 6-0, you know. And instead of going to run the play because we were in our hurry offense, we went to go out there. I told the offense coordinator up top, I said, hey, let's call timeout. You know, so we called timeout and we talked. I said, hey guys, these guys are tired. Man, they're aggressive defense. Let's go out there and just go freeze. Let's just go freeze. If they jump off sides, we got the first down. Now we can go on in and call a play and get on in the end zone to win the game. Or do we run the play? Well, they went with it. You know, Mark Orlando and Coach Richardson, you know, our coach up underneath. We ran up. I said, we're going to run up and we're gonna call freeze. We went up, called freeze. They jumped off sides. Now, instead of 4th and 1, we 1st and 10. We go on to win. We go on and win the championship 7-6. You know what I mean? But you got to have been there and have done that. You know what I'm saying? And sure about what's going on as far as when the game is going on. And you got to be able to have guys in position who have been in those situations. And if you ain't never been in those situations, then those thoughts and things don't come to you. You know, we talked with Chris Dishman, you know, when Texas Southern had the ball at the 10-yard line, instead of running out of the end zone, and they're up 7 points, he decided to try to punt it and never thought to run out of the back of the end zone. You know what I'm saying? And give them the 2 points. And then now they got 30 yards. We go on and kick the ball to them. Then now they got 30 yards to score.
Coach, you still ain't got over there, Coach.
No. I know that hurt. I know that hurt him. I know he's still thinking about that. You know, people still talking about that. So those things, how important it is. And just about warm up, just about recognizing when you're losing your team doing practice, you know, in the summer, hey, coach, they kind of drag it. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, let's change directions. You know, let's give them a day off. It's just so many things and so many decisions that you got to make, and having good people around you who have seen it, done it, been there, then you know to make those right decisions. You can't make decisions off emotions when you're trying to move a team and trying to move 100 people in one direction. You got to make them off of facts and that you've been there.
That's all right though. Cause Scotty said the coach ain't calling the governor ain't calling you, coach. He calling Deshaun Jackson, the governor, coach. Yeah. You ain't on the Breakfast Club, coach. Deshaun Jackson on the Breakfast Club. That makes a difference.
Herbert, you hear all that? Deshaun, he met the governor, took a picture with the governor, and he gonna win 10 games.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I've been
you see this head shaking, right?
Hey, listen. Hey, my son, my YouTube son say, listen, y'all better listen. The Breakfast Club, the governor, getting guys from California is gonna make a difference. And old heads like Johnnie Cole, who had a rotary phone, is too understand and know how the game is told.
So Herb, before you go, Herb, how long a leash does Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick get?
To be quite honest with you, I think Dell State is not in a position to not give him at least 2 or 3 years. They're at the bottom. So, you know, especially in this first year, if they show any sort of improvement, yeah, it's got to be at least 2 or 3 years. I think Michael Vick is probably going to get a little bit longer than that, primarily because of what he means to that community and what he means to Norfolk. Because I'll be honest with you, the community pressure on the school to give him what he needs is more than I've seen in a long time for anybody that's been in that coaching position. And anytime you could go on the local news and Wavy 10 or in Newport News or Williamsburg or Chesapeake, and you got the community talking about, I hope we get everything that we need to support Mike. So I think he's gonna, it's gonna be really interesting to see how that plays out to me, because if if the staff does well and they have a viable football product, he's going to get even more time. If the staff doesn't do well and it's a dumpster fire, he's going to get a mulligan and he's going to get new people in. He's just going to have the time to do it. So the one thing that I do think is going to be a big thing with both of them is that their name notoriety is going to briefly jumpstart recruiting for both, for different reasons. Deshaun, his West Coast connections, his visibility in Philly area, his visibility in the DC area, that's going to jumpstart recruiting in those areas for him, that people that may want to go to Dover. Because I'm going to be honest with you, getting people out of Dover ain't the easiest place. That's not the easiest place in the world to recruit. Norfolk is in a unique situation because as Norfolk has a lot of built-in things going for it. You got a 30,000 seat stadium there. You got a school that appears to be all in for you, and you got a community that appears to be all in, for the coach. On top of that, you got a name in that area where you could sneeze in a high school, anywhere across the bridge in the peninsula and recruit a kid if you want.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the things that stand out to me.
All right, Herb, man, I appreciate you staying on with us, man.
It was a blast, man.
Hey, man, you got to come back and we gonna revisit those regular season predictions and let you redo it for the tournament. Hey, and get brushed up on the ladies' side of the house so we can take a deep dive into what they're doing as well, brother.
The women, yeah, because we're gonna interview a couple girls. I've interviewed Reed before and interviewed a girl at Alabama A&M and some swag people. So yeah.
Let me preface this before I roll out, man. For those of you guys been following HBC Hoops Weekly and HBC Nightly and this platform, man, thank you. Because I'm just humbled that I have that to offer. So just stay tuned to my keep up with my social media feeds. I'm also on Blue Sky as well, doing the same thing that I'm doing on Twitter. And the HBC Hoops Weekly podcast will finally get season 2 started again on Tuesday. We got a new host, new format. You guys gonna like who's there. In the meantime, stay tuned to HBCUHoopsWeekly.com for all written content regarding HBCU basketball, recruiting news. We got a fan forum over there. Just come and join us, man, because we're trying to build a community over there as well. The Division I drop of January for the HBCU Division I top 10 poll for January 2025 is coming tonight. I'm actually working on it here now, so you should see the drop in the morning. I've already done the composite Division II NAIA drop that was yesterday for first poll in January. Langston's still at the top. And there's some new people that are there. Tougaloo's looking good. Xavier, Louisiana, and Dillard are both in the poll, so go check that out. And again, man, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, I've heard appreciate you, man. Boy, I'm trying to tell my young boys come through, boy. I'm tell you, man, a lot of talent.
I'm about to do something. Give you a live promotion, Campbell. I'm gonna promote you, the co-producer of the show, for getting such informative guests like that on the show, man. And so you get co-producer credits from here on out, man. I love listening, man. Now don't get big headed on us.
Oh man, listen. I'm gonna say this, man, and this kind of what Coach Cole and I talk about, man. This connection with these young brothers and young sisters out here, man. This is the best of what we got, man. I just love seeing them coming on. Him, Zoe, Scotty. You know what I'm saying? Gerald that came on the right for the Tallahassee Denver. And I got about 5 or 6 more I'm going to get on here because, man, it's just a great bridge, you know what I mean, hear what they got to say, hear their opinion, and then coach, then we got to give them some wisdom, coach. You know, we got to give them a little something before they leave up out of here, because you know they think they know everything when they get on their shows, you know, and everything. But when they come over here with the grown folks, with the ARP folks, we got to give them a little something, and they appreciate that.
You know, they be talking about how they feel. You know, young folk make decisions off of feelings. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no facts. See, they don't have no facts. They just, you know, they watch on the TV and hear somebody say something like, yeah, that sounds good. Let me say that too.
But
they ain't never experienced it.
Because you know what I'm waiting on? I'm 50, I'll be 55 in a month. Scott is about 20 years older than me. I can't wait till I'm 75 and he get 55. And when people say, oh, your old ass back in 2023, man, what you talking about? And his son take over. I cannot wait when his son take over. Daddy, that was back in your day. We got 3D. I don't know what you're talking about, Daddy. So see, it's coming. We cannot wait. So man, no, I just want to thank Herb, you know, for joining, man. And we're gonna, like I said, we want to talk about all sports here. Like I said, Coach Cole is a 2-sport letterman at his school. So hey, listen, we're gonna talk basketball, man. We're gonna talk some baseball. I got some baseball folks too.
Basketball is my favorite sport, Coach.
Wait, watch out.
And I took an 8th grade team down to Miami, Florida, and won an AAU national championship, Coach. Y'all gonna make me run and get my trophy.
Hey, Coach, man, you better let them know, Coach. People, listen, Coach. Some folks don't know you. Hey, man, like you know, we're gonna do, Coach. This is what next show. What we're gonna do? We gonna have you need to put up all your trophies, and because see, a lot of these folks. Listen, Coach. A lot of these folks think that you didn't coach for some reason. So we need.
I was the youngest of 9 boys, man. Coach, I won the 6th grade around the world in the city, the 7th grade, the 8th grade, man, pass, shooting, dribble. Pass, shooting, kick. Coach, ask my family, man. I won everything, Coach. And scholar athlete. And principal of the wheel in 8th grade, the 7th grade, high school, MVP.
Hey, Coach one of these type of guys. When I first met Coach told me like this. You know, I coached for 30 years, but I'm an engineer by trade.
That's HBCU got for you, boy. See, we don't do no parks and recreation around here.
Guys,
we don't do basketball.
You know I'm a civil engineer, don't you?
We don't do no basketball.
Let me tell y'all what my kids tell me. They say, Coach, Daddy, you all you did was what your brother them told you to do. Yeah. Exactly.
It worked.
Hey, Campbell, exactly. I followed my brother them to the T, man. Whatever they told me to do, that's what I did. And I learned that you're either going to learn by instructions or you're going to learn by experience. And no, the same, man. I'm been successful is because I had a lot of great people around me, man. It wasn't just me. Like I'm just this. It's just the guidance that I had and the people that's been in my life that the reason why I've done some great things in the athletic realm. But here's my thing too, guys, with the Deshaun hire and the Vic hire. And I always tell y'all that Jackson State, Deion needed Jackson State more than Jackson State needed Deion. And Deion just needed the platform to show people who he was. And Jackson State was there to give it to him. Because Jackson State is Jackson State. We've all heard that. You know what I'm saying? Here's what I want to know. I want to know what's in Vic's them contract, Deshaun's them contract, to say, we're going to give y'all almost $500,000 to come in and coach our team. But this is what we expect. I want to see what we expect from them, Coach. Are we going to draw so many fans? Are you going to go out and raise so much money? Are you going to bring in, the Breakfast Club and Kevin Hart and all these guys y'all know? How much are y'all giving up? Or are we sitting here as HBCUs and saying HBCUs produce all Americans. They produce superstars. They produce movie stars. When it has come now that we at HBCUs need somebody to make us shine, the colleges. I ain't talking about me personally. I'm talking about the schools. It's an institution to produce these superstars. So now that we're going out and getting people that's not HBCU people, what are y'all bringing to the table? Or is that the NIL that we're giving?
Because this is the thing, and I talked to Scotty this. Well, see, this is the people like Scotty. And what's going to happen? They're going to be held accountable for that, because if you do not see what all the fanfare and it does not pay off, Because let me tell you something about people like Scotty. They'll flip on your ass in a dime. So like I say, they'll be with you today, but if you mess up, they'll be gone tomorrow. And and that's not being negative.
So
That's
that's
being
what I'm
honest.
saying. We come up with almost $500,000 to pay these guys. We doing the office. So now I want to see, is Nike coming in? Now that's one thing I can say about Dion. He had Under Armour coming in. He called a couple of his people. They helped get the football field built. You know what I mean? They put him on what's that Saturday afternoon game day?
Well, Coach, that's the whole thing. That's the thing that when people that advocate for that, and I think we're all going to hold them account, because what's going to happen is if they don't look into the, as they say in the black, increased ticket sales, merchandising, connections, and things like that. And Coach, what you say, because the most important thing is you got to win. So that's got to happen in all phases.
Being an astute businessman and a HBCU historian, Mr. Campbell, in that region, when you talk about football, is the margin even there for them to capitalize on?
I think, listen, I'm going to say this again, and I spoke about this. Norfolk, I got, like I say, a lot of family friends up there in Norfolk. They got a shot to be big. Football-wise, there's the talent. They got the stadium. They've got and here's another thing, too. They got success on the basketball side. So they know what it looks like. See, that does help. That does help. So on the basketball side, they can say, hey, listen, we get this football. Now we've got an overall athletic program. So the thing about it is with Norfolk, again, their season tickets on $100, Rocky. Okay? Yeah. $125. I think Jackson State's sold 5,000 to 6,000. You gonna tell me Mike Vick can't get 4,000 at $100? All these people talking about Vick is my guy. $100, man.
Well, one of the things that I've come to understand about Jackson is that Jackson was matter of fact, put it like this: there couldn't have been a better marriage in the SWAC when you talk about Dion and Jackson and what Dion meant to football in general and what Jackson State meant to that region and the SWAC. You couldn't have had a better fit. And like you bring up, it was a cultural thing that just fit. Being from Florida, him being from Fort Myers, Tallahassee, and how that just molded so well with the people of Jackson. It was something they almost were familiar with and had some kinship with immediately.
100%. So I think, again, and this is where it goes back to the challenge of Norfolk State. And again, here's the thing. I always tell people it takes time to get a lot of merchandise stuff, because if you don't believe it, I'll give you a perfect example. Did Disney have all the Black Panther stuff ready when that came out? No. And this is doggone Walt Disney. So you got to understand, it takes a lot of lead time to get certain things prepared. But what I will say, and what they should capitalize on, are the simple things: the ticket sales, the sponsorships, the engagement with the fan community. Those are things that you don't need no 6-7 month runway. Those are things that are immediate. So for Norfolk, again, I'm looking for them to really sit back and say, hey, we should have a goal. To me, they should have a goal of 2,500 season tickets, just minimum. Because if they get 2,500 season tickets, that's half a big salary right there.
Yeah. Now, this is I'll let you respond to this. Because
I agree, because Dion is I agree. Yeah, FAMU, yeah. Now, I mean, that would be a whole nother level too. But the reason why it would have been Jackson State first, FAMU second. So now I agree with E8. But the reason why Jackson, because of the stadium, and you could put 40, 50,000 people in there, and they were already putting 30,000 there without blinking. So that was the thing about it, what gave it that magnitude with Prime. But to Norfolk's thing is that if I'm them, I am getting with Michael Vick. What do we need to do to sell tickets? Because that is money in hand. That's how you build infrastructure. Because if you got cash on hand, guess what? If I got $500,000 in the bank, I can go get a loan for $2 million.
Well, absolutely. One of the things that you, being a native of Jackson, explained to me is that Jackson, being a black city, made a definite. It was a fit. Tallahassee has a different demographic, and so it could have went. It may not have been as big, but again, with Dion being a Florida State guy, maybe it could have been a multicultural.
Well, no, I see. People keep saying, listen, man. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say it for white folks do white folk stuff. Okay, you need to stop acting like that, bro. They don't care. There are people that don't know who Beyonce is. Okay, all right. So listen, we can't stop worrying about. Now you'll get the casual, and when it gets to a big level, of course they show the white people, coming to the Jackson State game. But really, the thing like in Tallahassee, it's enough black people to sell that stadium out. Get them first. Okay.
Okay.
Get them first. Sell that out. Same thing in Jackson. Jackson's got plenty of black folks before they worry about any white people. Same thing in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge don't need no people from LSU to come to their games. I'll give you another thing too. Texas Southern and Prairie View. They don't need white people coming in. They just need the black people that attend those schools to come to the game.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They don't. I know Prairie View, for instance. They don't even. I mean, of course, they want the Texas A&M support, but I'm just talking about the people that graduated from Prairie View and being successful. If they got behind the Prairie View, I'm not saying the way that they should, because everybody does what they want to, but if they were more involved as far as supporting, they could have something
crazy,
gargantuan over there. You know what I mean? Because you see the makings of it when you go there for homecoming. It's a sensational homecoming. It's on a different level than Southern, but it's sensational, Mr. Campbell. I'll just say that. It's sensational, and it's surprising that it's all that for homecoming and then hardly nothing anytime else. That's the frustrating piece.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's the reason why I for me as a SWAC fan, I want Prairie View to be good. Because if you go down to Texas and that thing is on fire, you come to Florida, that's on fire. You go to Alabama, that's on fire. You go to Louisiana, that's on fire. See, now you got, again, it's about TV. It's big games because you want to see people in the stands, man, and you want to have big games. So that's just my thing. So, no, yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, of course, I mean, it's Deion Sanders, but I'm just saying, just the infrastructure. Jackson State just has a bigger infrastructure than we got. I mean, they got a bigger stadium. I mean, and it's more black people in Jackson than it is in Tallahassee. And in Jackson, they're not second-class citizens like we are in Tallahassee, unfortunately. That's just a fact.
Hey, Coach Cole, he done had a rough day, man. We about to get out of here, Mr. Campbell. I'm going to do my best to fill in for Coach Cole in this moment. Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for coming on, man. We've had a great time tonight. There are some things going to be happening by the time we come on next week that probably we thought should not happen or would not happen. But it's going to happen anyway. And as black people, we've been through a lot of adversity in this country, and we've always found a way to survive, overcome, and even thrive. So if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, I just want you to tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
There you go.
See you next week.
Hey, my name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.